Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the flip through of the latest journals that I've just finished. So these are the fairytale journals. I've been sharing glimpses of these on my Instagram, and I've also shared some of the progress making these on my YouTube channel in my latest studio vlog. You can see some of the process of making these journals. So in this collection there are 4 large journals and there are also 4 small journals. So I'm going to show you those in this video. Before we get into that though, there's a few things that I need to say. So first of all, this journal collection is going to be sold a bit differently. This is going to be a bit of a trial, and I spoke about this on my Instagram to get some feedback from you guys, and most of you really wanted me to do this. So I am going to be popping these journals up as an auction on eBay. So there's a couple of benefits to doing it that way that I can tell so far. So one of those benefits is that they won't sell out immediately. So if you're watching this video as soon as it goes up, you'll be able to see the listings. If you're watching it 2.5 days later, you'll be able to see the listings, and you'll be able to have a chance to bid on the journals and secure a journal if you want one. So the auctions are going to be open for 3 days, and I have staggered each one, so there's half an hour between each book. So the reason I've done that again is for you guys, so that if you are trying to secure a journal, I think it will be easier for you to do that if you can watch each journal on its own. So if there's half an hour between each one and you miss out on one, you can try for the next one, and so on. I think that makes sense. In my head it makes sense, but again, this is the first time trying this system, so it may not be perfect, but we're just going to give it a go. So a couple of other things to note with this before we get into the flip through. The listings are open internationally, so you can purchase one of these journals no matter where you are, and I've also included the shipping in the price, so free shipping no matter where you are. You guys will be able to actually see the listings. I know a lot of people don't even get to see them hit the shop when they go to Etsy, so you should be able to actually view the listing, have a chance to bid on it if you wish to. I've staggered the listings so you can kind of concentrate on one at a time, and I will link all of the listings individually on this video. So by the time you're seeing this video, the listings are live, so I'm going to wait till the last journal hits publish at the time that I've scheduled it, and then this video will be published, so you can just hit the links down below to find the books. Then the other important thing to mention with the auction is that I will be setting a starting bid for all of the journals, and that starting bid is going to be close to the price that I would normally sell them for on Etsy, and they normally go for on Etsy, and they normally sell really quickly at that price. So the reason that I'm doing that, I hope no one's upset with me for doing that, because I cannot afford to put them up with no starting bid or a low starting bid and risk selling them for less than the time and materials it's taken me to make them. So I have to make sure that I'm close to what I would sell them for on Etsy. Again, this is the first time doing an auction, so I don't know how it's going to pan out. I don't know if people will want to bid or if many people will bid, and so I'm also offering and including the free shipping. I don't know if I'm even going to hit the price that I would normally sell them for when you take off the postage. So it's going to be a bit of an experiment. I'm extremely nervous about it, to be honest, but you never know until you try. And a lot of people on Instagram said they would really like me to do this so that they can actually have a chance to see the books at least, and then bid if they would like to. So with all of that said, let's get into the flip through. I will show you the collection all together first of all. So there are 4 little journals and there are 4 larger journals. So let me just lay these out to give you a bit of a glimpse at the collection as a whole. So as you can see, there is 2 of each color. So there's a small and a large in each color. So they kind of have like a little sister journal or a little baby journal. And then I thought as well, if someone really loves the blue, for example, they have kind of like 2 chances at getting a blue journal. The larger journals measure approximately 6 or just under 6 inches by just under 8 inches. And the spine is, I believe, 2.5 inches. Yeah, the spine is 2.5 inches wide. And then the smaller journals are about 4 by 6. So I think they're just under 4 just under 6, and then they have a 1.5 inch spine. So those are the measurements. The larger ones feel very like princess castle fairy tale, whereas the smaller ones have more of like a woodland animal feel to them. So I think I'll show you the larger journals first. I'll put the smaller journals aside. So for these journals, I wanted to do something different with each cover. So they all kind of have their own special thing going on that makes them unique. So the first journal here is the brown journal, and this is an illustration from Heidi, which I realize is not really a fairy tale, but it still has a beautiful magical vibe to it. So the special thing about this journal is it has 2 images. So this image on the back and this image on the front. This is the spine of this journal with the beautiful decals. All of these journals have 9 signatures, the larger ones, and they all have their own little dangles. So they have their own little differences in the dangles, some special little charms and beads that are a little bit different on each book. And then they also all have a seam binding closure. This seam binding is from My Scrap Cabin Shop. I will link her shop down below. She has the most beautiful colors that work perfectly for fairy tale books. They just feel so elegant and they work great as closures. I will show you inside, but I'll show you what's special about each book as we go down the line. So the next one is the green one. This is an image of Hansel and Gretel, which is just so sweet. So this one's special because it has some embossed areas on the cover, so this kind of raised floral, and then it also has some extra gold embossing and some really pretty little butterfly decals surrounding the image. So this one kind of has a lot of things going on the front cover with my usual circle window, and then here's the spine. Again, some pretty decals, 9 signatures just like the other one, and then these are the charms, so some pretty little beads and buttons. This one has this little locket which you can actually open up and you can put a little picture in there, and then some pretty little charms. Again, the seam binding closure, this one's in a soft pink, and then it's just plain green on the back. The next journal is the blue journal. I think this one is possibly the most striking in the collection just because of the way I've done the cover. So this one has 6 little windows, as you can see, and so I selected these little images that kind of tell their own story. It's kind of like a kingdom, I suppose. There's some animals, some different scenery, and then a king and a queen, or a prince and a princess. And then I've done this gold embossing around to kind of frame it, and it turned out so pretty. I also love this shade of blue. The spine on this one has some more gold embossing and 9 signatures, and then this floral decal, and then the beautiful little charms and beads hanging off the spine, plain blue on the back. And then I picked this navy blue seam binding for the closure of this journal. So there's that one. And then the last big one is this pink one. So this one again has a Hansel and Gretel image, and I did a different shaped window, so I had to hand cut this, and then I placed this image inside. And then this one has a really beautiful gold border, really pretty, and then this beautiful green seam binding closure, which I think complements that pink so nicely. And then on the spine, this one also has some decals, but I also did some gold embossing, which looks really pretty, and it's just plain pink on the back. And then these are the charms for this one. This one has a little glass bottle with a little gnome, or maybe he's from like the 7 Dwarves or something, but some cute little charms and beads on there as well. So they're all very different to each other. I just wanted to play around with some different ideas for the covers, and so they're all designed quite differently to each other, which makes them all really unique. So we'll start with the brown one, and I'm just going to give you a glimpse inside of each book. We're not going to take too long to do this because there's so many to look at, but you just untie the closure. Inside I lined each larger book with this wallpaper, which is actually glued face down, and then I used inks to distress this to make it feel really vintage and to bring out that embossed pattern, which I really love how that turned out. So that's in the front and the back, and that is the same for all of the larger books. They're slightly different because they're inked differently and then different parts showing through, but they all are done the same way. And then for the pages, I didn't want them to be too stark white, so I ink dyed the paper. And there's a lot of plain paper in here so that you can really utilize the book, but it's not completely plain because they've got really fun ink dyeing effects on them. So that ink dyeing is the same technique that I taught in my Christmas journal teachable class. If you've seen that, it's the same technique. So the journals have some vintage ledger paper. They have some embossed paper, which I also ink dyed. And then they've got some scrapbook paper, some pockets, and then they've got some fun little bits that are paper clipped to the page. This is actually some stuff that I cut out of an old pop-up book. And then they've also got some really beautiful storybook papers in here with some fairy tale illustrations on them. So I'm not going to show you every page, but I'll just give you an idea. I also stitched different fabrics and trims onto some of the pages just to add that extra bit of texture and specialness to the book. So I'm just going to flick through, give you a bit of an idea of what's included. The other thing they all have are some laminated sheets that have these really realistic floral stickers, and I was going to attach them as pages, but I decided to leave them loose on a paper clip. That way you can add them in wherever you like. You could just washi tape them in as a page, or you could have like a flip up or something like that, but those turned out really cool as well. So there's like music paper, craft paper, like little craft envelopes, and yeah, some really fun bits and pieces included inside, and lots of pages in these journals as well. So that is the brown one. Next is the green one, and I'm going to start speeding up a little bit now that I've shown you inside, but this is what the lining paper looks like. Again, same technique, just inked a little bit differently. I think that turned out so cool. Beautiful trims sewn on, and then beautiful storybook pages, embossed pages, fairy tale bits and pieces, lots of beautiful storybook pages, and postcards and things like that that are clipped to the page. These books just turned out so pretty and also so usable, and I feel like each page looks really inviting to use. Like I could easily journal on each of these pages, and the dyed pages really help to blend everything together because it kind of puts everything in the same hue and the same tone, and it feels that little bit distressed. So this one has these beautiful pink roses in the laminator sheet, which turned out so pretty. I've also included some envelopes which I attached little stamp stickers to, or real vintage stamps to, and they turned out super pretty as well. So there is the green one. Next is the blue one. So same technique for the lining paper. I'll show you the back as well. And then again, just going to flick through to give you a glimpse at what's in here. Just beautiful fairy tale storybook pages and some extra goodies. This is the laminator sheet for this one. It looks so realistic. I love how those turned out. I also stuck some vintage stamps to some of the pages in each book. There's one of those envelopes, postcard. There's another one of the envelopes. So they each have, I think, 2 envelopes, a pink one and a tea-dyed one. The one envelope in each of these books is the only thing that's tea-dyed. Everything else is ink-dyed. So beautiful vintage stamps, and then some other stickers that I added. So quickly going to flip through here. Some pockets. So there is the blue one, and then the pink one. So same deal with the lining paper. And these books do have a lot of pages, but they also feel they're probably a little bit fluffed up from being dyed. So it's making the book look very full, but there is a lot of room to grow in these books as well. So just going to quickly flip through this one because it's all the same sort of stuff. the laminator sheet for this one, some little pockets, little vintage stamps, just lots of beautiful paper. And extra little bits inside. So there is the pink one. So those are the large journals in the collection. Again, these are up for auction and they're already posted by the time you see this video, so you can just hit the links down below to find them. I'm just going to show you the smaller journals. So again, these ones are about 4x6 and there's one in each color that I've already shown you. We'll start with the pink one. So the smaller journals have each a bird on the spine, some gold on the spine, and then this pretty little decal around the eyelet. And then they each have a different animal. So the pink one has a deer and then some gold embossing. And then on the back, a little flower. So they're all the same sort of design. The blue one has a bunny, little bird, and then a flower on the back. The green one has these little mice, an owl, gold, and then the flower on the back. And then the brown one has a squirrel, which is so cute, and a little owl, gold, and the flower. They all also have seam binding closures. So this one has this pretty pinky color, and then they all have some little beads. I used some smaller beads so it felt a little bit more to scale with the journal and a little bit more dainty and delicate. Some cute little buttons and some charms. So just some little pretty things tied on there. These journals inside also have dyed paper, so ink dyed paper. I lined all of them with this beautiful scrapbook paper from Craft Consortium, the front and back. And then I also added some vintage stamps to some of the pages in here as well, so mushrooms and butterflies. And then I also paper clipped bits and pieces throughout. So they also have some scrapbook paper, some embossed inked paper, some plain inked paper, and some goodies paper clipped to the page. So fairytale postcards, and these ones have laminated butterflies and some laminated mushrooms, which look so cute. I'll show you as we get to it. Some craft paper. So there's the mushrooms. There's some extra goodies added throughout. So some cute little animal imagery and just fun little bits to play with. So there's another vintage stamp there. I don't really want to show you every single page, but I'm just going to give you a good idea. And then for the remaining journals, I'll probably just go a little bit faster. So just beautiful little bits and pieces tucked inside. Some vintage wallpaper there. Another pretty little stamp. So that is the little pink one. Then we'll take a look at the little blue one. So I've already shown you the cover. I'll just show you the charms. Little mushroom, pretty little beads and buttons. And this one has the pink seam binding closure, the light pink, which I think complements that blue so well. It feels very elegant. Then inside, this one has the same lining paper, and then the pages are all made the same way. There's just a different variety of stuff included, so it's very, very similar to the last one, but I've used a lot of Craft Consortium paper in these. They're such beautiful little animal illustrated papers, which are just gorgeous. Some fun little fairy tale bits stuck in on paper clips, so you can kind of move them around wherever you like. Little transparency. I'm just going to flick through pretty quickly at this point to get through the last few books. Just give you an idea of what these are like. So there's that one. Also, I should have mentioned these ones, the small ones have 5 signatures, whereas the large ones have 9. Then we've got the little brown squirrel one, and these are the charms. So cute little beads, little mushroom on that one as well. And then this one has the green seam binding, which again, I just felt like complemented the brown really nicely. So all the same stuff, again, just going to flick through pretty quickly and just show you, just give you a glimpse inside. It's really pretty, really fun little bits to play with. Beautiful craft consortium papers. So there's the little brown one, and then the last one is the green one. The green one has this rose sort of coloured seam binding, which is just gorgeous. I only had a smaller bit of it left, but this colour complemented so well that I thought it was worth it to have a slightly shorter tie closure just to have this colour. So it's so pretty. It matches so well and it complements well with the pink binding as well. So these are the charms for this book. This one has a key, little dragonfly, and some other little beads and buttons. And then again, all the same stuff. So cute mushroom stamps, little bits and pieces attached on paper clips, and then just beautiful scrapbook papers, dyed papers, craft colored papers, transparencies, some little fairy tale bits and pieces that you can play with. So this is a cute little fairy tale postcard. All the same sort of thing, so just trying to be pretty quick. Cute little stamps and little extras paper clipped to the page. So that's the green one. That's the last of the 4 little small journals. So that is a closer look at the collection and all the details for how you can purchase one if you would like to. I really hope that this sale goes well. Again, I'm pretty nervous about doing it differently, so please bear with me. And again, it's just a trial, so if it doesn't work better for me and it doesn't work better for you, I'll just go back to how I used to do it on Etsy. And even if it does go well, there's nothing to say I'll always do it this way either. I'll probably do like a bit of both. It just depends on how it goes, so we'll just have to wait and see. But thank you so much for stopping by my channel and taking a look at my creations. I really hope you enjoyed this flip through. I really hope you're all doing really well, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye.